Analysis of King Kong, 2005. Plot. The film follows the story of the legendary giant gorilla, Kong, set in the 1930s. A group of filmmakers, led by the ambitious Carl Denham, embarks on an expedition to the mysterious Skull Island, hoping to film something groundbreaking. Among them is actress Ann Darrow, who becomes the center of Kong's attention. On the island, the team faces prehistoric creatures and natural obstacles. Kong falls in love with Anne, leading to an emotional and physical conflict when humans try to capture him and take him to New York. The story culminates in an epic battle at the Empire State Building, where Kong confronts the reality of a world that doesn't understand his existence. Strengths: visual effects and CGI. Peter Jackson brings Kong to life impressively. Every movement of the gorilla conveys emotion, and the details in his face and body evoke empathy and realism. Atmosphere and direction. Skull Island is richly detailed, with dense forests, giant creatures, and breathtaking landscapes, creating constant tension and adventure. Soundtrack. James Newton Howard's music is powerful, enhancing moments of action, suspense, and drama. Humanized characters. Ann Darrow shows realistic emotional development, and even Kong, despite being a creature, expresses clear feelings of affection, anger, and sadness. Weaknesses. Excessive length. At almost 3 hours, some parts of the film can feel slow, especially at the beginning. Underdeveloped supporting characters. Some expedition members have little relevance, serving mainly as support for the main plot. Narrative cliches. Despite excellent execution, certain story elements like the immediate bond between Anne and Kong or the man trying to capture the creature formula are predictable. Trivia of the movie King Kong 2005. Remake of a classic? The 2005 film is a remake of the classic King Kong from 1933, aiming to stay faithful to the original vision of Marion C. Cooper, but with updated visuals and more detailed storylines. Andy Serkis as Kong. Motion capture technology was used to bring Kong to life, performed by Andy Serkis, who is also famous for his role as Gollum in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Details of Skull Island. The flora, fauna, and prehistoric creatures of Skull Island were inspired by real fossils, classic monster films, and the creative imagination of director Peter Jackson. Epic scene at the Empire State Building. The final battle took months to plan and film, combining computer-generated imagery, miniatures, and practical effects to achieve impressive realism. Casting of actress Ann Darrow. Naomi Watts, who plays Ann Darrow, went through intense training to interact convincingly with CGI Kong, reacting naturally to the creature's movements. Tribute to the original film. Some scenes are direct homages to the 1933 classic, including Kong's first appearance on Skull Island and the famous climb up the Empire State Building. Record-breaking budget. The film had a very high production budget, estimated at approximately $207 million, making it one of the most expensive movies of its time. Academy Award recognition. King Kong won 3 Academy Awards in the categories of Best Sound Editing, Best Sound Mixing, and Best Visual Effects. Inspiration from 1930s adventures. The filming crew, photography style, and sets are reminiscent of adventure films from the 1930s, helping to create an authentic atmosphere of the era. Presence of prehistoric creatures. Besides Kong, Skull Island is inhabited by dinosaurs and other giant monsters, which were fully created with computer-generated imagery, blending scientific references with fantastical elements. Lessons from the movie King Kong 2005. The conflict between nature and humanity. The film highlights the clash between the natural world and human ambition. Kong represents a force of nature that is misunderstood and exploited by mankind, showing the consequences of disrupting the balance of nature. love and empathy beyond differences. The bond between Kong and Ann Darrow demonstrates that empathy, compassion, and respect can exist even between completely different beings. Their connection emphasizes the universal value of understanding, the dangers of human greed and ambition. Carl Denham symbolizes ambition and greed, willing to risk everything for fame and profit. His actions serve as a lesson that the relentless pursuit of personal gain can lead to tragedy and destruction. The tragic beauty of sacrifice. Kong's ultimate fate at the Empire State Building reminds us of the power of sacrifice and the idea that true strength is not only measured by physical power, but also by the ability to care and protect. The movie King Kong from 2005 cost approximately $207 million to produce and grossed around $560 million worldwide. The movie King Kong from 2005 was considered a financial success because it earned more than twice its production cost worldwide, although its extremely high budget and marketing expenses made the profit margin smaller than expected by the studio. On Rotten Tomatoes, King Kong 2005 holds an approval rating of approximately 84% from critics, while the audience score is around 50%, showing that critics praised the film highly, but the general audience was much more divided. Now, here's our opinion.
When King Kong 2005 was released, I was really excited because Kong has always been one of my favorite characters since the 1990s. I had already seen other versions of the story, especially the 1976 film, so my expectations were pretty high. Right away, something really surprised me. The film is set in the 1930s. This was quite different from the 1976 version, which was set in the modern day of that time. Later, I realized why. Peter Jackson's King Kong is actually a remake of the 1933 classic. And that explains the Great Depression setting, the atmosphere of the era, and even the narrative choices that echo the original film. Another difference that stood out to me was the choice of creatures. In the 1976 film, Kong fights a giant snake, but in 2005, he battles several species of dinosaurs. This is a direct callback to the 1933 movie, where Kong also faced dinosaurs, and it makes the action sequences feel much more epic and adventurous. If I have one small criticism, it's about the time period. Personally, I would have preferred to see the story set in modern times, but that does not take away from the overall impact of the film, which still delivers a powerful and engaging experience. Now, about the cast, we have Jack Driscoll, played by Adrian Brody. He is technically the hero of the story, but to me his character felt a little bland, a typical leading man without much that really stood out. On the other hand, there is Carl Denham, portrayed by Jack Black. This casting was an interesting choice because Jack Black is mostly known for comedic roles. Here, he plays a filmmaker driven by ambition and obsession. He is not exactly a traditional villain, but he embodies greed and exploitation. Personally, I did not find him entirely convincing in a darker role, but I understand what Peter Jackson was aiming for, to show how blind ambition can push people into destructive choices. The character that truly won me over, though, was Ann Darrow, played by Naomi Watts. She is the classic beauty in the Beauty and the Beast story. And back in 1976, the role was played by Jessica Lange. In that version, Anne had a very sensual approach, with several scenes suggesting a strange, almost romantic attraction from Kong. In contrast, Naomi Watts plays Anne in a completely different way. She is charismatic, kind, and her connection with Kong is based on empathy and friendship rather than sensuality. This change made a huge difference, and I think it worked perfectly. It made their bond feel more emotional and heartfelt. One of the most talked about action sequences is the stampede with the dinosaurs. Many critics complained that it was over the top with too much CGI and unrealistic escapes, but honestly, I enjoyed it. It was chaotic, fun, and full of energy, and I thought it fit well within the film's adventurous tone. Overall, Peter Jackson's King Kong 2005 is a dynamic film, full of action, adventure, and emotion. It delivers pure entertainment, but also carries deeper themes about human greed, exploitation, and how mankind often destroys what it does not understand. In my opinion, out of all the versions that have been made, this is the most complete and impactful take on the story. For me, it is the best King Kong ever made. That's all for now. Session closed. Thank you for watching this video. Your interaction is important. Please press the like button. If you want to see more content, subscribe to this channel. I will be very grateful. And if all goes well, see you in the next video. Until then.